Good evening, everyone. Charlotte here from Enriching Environments for Top Tip Tuesday, Tuesday the 7th of December, and the first Top Tip Tuesday for this holiday season with our holiday theme. And I'm just going to leave a few moments for everyone to come in. I'm sorry that I'm later than scheduled this evening. Harry just woke up. He'd had a bad dream. So it took me a bit of time to settle him back down again, and I hope he's going to be okay as we do this live. So we'll see how it goes. Hi, Diane. Good evening. And actually, it's great we're talking about Christmas traditions, holiday traditions, because Diane is one of my clients, and we've been invited by her and her son, Ulysse, to join them to make Christmas cookies over the holiday break. So we're really looking forward to that. And that's talking about Christmas traditions is one of the things that we can start in our family. Really, really simple. Invite people over to bake cookies with us or whatever it might be. But that's something that we can do that's child-led. We can invite other children of other ages to do that. And it's all about getting this sense of putting things in the emotional memory for our child. Things about these, moments in time that create these emotional memories in the amygdala that form this imprint of this moment in time. And actually, a colleague and I were talking about this afternoon, and she was talking about growing up in India, and that having breakfast paratha and chai reminds her so much of being on the back of being in Punjab on a motorbike. Her dad on the front and her on the back, and her holding on and going for breakfast paratha and chai with him, and that's the type of thing we're going to be seeking to evoke with our holiday traditions that we're creating for our family, that are child-led, really bring something special, simple but special, that's going to leave this really beautiful lingering memory in the conscious and the unconscious mind. So let's dive straight in, and I can tell you just one thing we do in our family, which is a tradition, and it is actually behind me. This is our advent calendar. It's this beautiful handmade fabric, not made by me, mind you, fabric advent calendar. Each pocket is numbered, and what I started doing a couple of years ago is putting an affirmation for the children in each pocket. So, for example, you matter is December the 20th, and I think all these are like, you are safe, you are worthy, yeah. Olivia and Harry, know that you are enough and you will always be enough. You are enough. You are safe. Sorry, I've done that one already. You matter. You are courageous. So there's an affirmation for Olivia and Harry in each, in each pocket. And what Olivia started doing last year is writing. Actually, now the other thing, pockets that she's done, writing. Oh yeah, the yellow one up there is writing. So this is Harry's picture that he started doing. So they've started adding it themselves, and lots of things come in and out of the pocket and get lost and what have you, but we replenish them as we go. So what started 3 years ago as a very, very adult-led holiday activity, that they would then bring me the affirmation card and I would read it to them. Just last year when Olivia started writing, she started, let me grab this one up top. She started writing her own affirmations, and Harry started drawing, and this year she started to do, she's writing pretty fluently now. So this was her last year. You can see they're not fully formed words that we would recognize, but this was definitely her start. You can see that actually says Olivia there. You can see her starting to do those affirmations, and Harry at his level, of course, was drawing last year, so that's what he was doing, and put them in there. So something that started really, really adult-led a couple of years ago is now moving towards being more child-led. And that's the theme of what we're going to talk about this evening. So that's just one thing you can do with this Advent calendar. I think when my mum gave it to us as a gift, actually, and I think the suggestion was you put biscuits or chocolates in every day, which obviously also would be fine. But I wanted to do something that could create this memory and reinforce what I'm doing. Affirmations is something I do with the children every night anyway, as they fall asleep, and it's part of my family and the way I interact with the children anyway, and part of something that I do myself in my journaling and what have you. So there's this, and I've added blank bits of card because we've started doing gratitude as well. So Olivia will talk about the things that she's grateful for, and pop those in the pockets too. So it's something that's really, really developing, and every single year I'm sure there's going to be a different nuance, something different. I mean, probably this time next year, both of them will be writing in it, and they would have removed all of my old ones. But you can use it as gratitude, you can use it as a little affirmation. The children can write notes to each other, anything like that. Hi, Jean-Marie. So this started off as something that's very adult-led, and through the years, this is the third year we're doing it now, it's more and more child-led. And it's fab that Jean-Marie Penel has just joined, because we were together on the Montessori Show on, when was it, last Friday, and herself and Simone were talking about, Simone from the Montessori Notebook, we're talking about traditions we could do with an Advent calendar for really, really little ones. And the suggestion that Simone made was for a toddler, if you've got a little one, because anything child-led could be really, really simple, just one step or a few simple steps. And what you could do in your days of your numbers of the month for a toddler, it could be something as simple as the little note that you write in there for the day is, let's make the Christmas cards, or let's take the Christmas cards to the post office. And what was really beautiful, the point that Simone made, is that for a toddler, for a piccolini, the fact that you're going to the Advent calendar and taking the note out, they're handing the note to you, and you're reading it out, that brings the specialness. It doesn't need to be something massively complicated. Whatever you write on that piece of paper is going to be exciting for them, and they're going to want to do, because that's the stage of development that they're in. They really, really want this collaboration. So we can often think we need really to create really, really elaborate memories, but certainly the younger the child, the simpler it should be. So just baking, putting in one of the envelopes that are today for the 7th of December, we're going to bake some Christmas cookies together in the shapes of stars. I mean, that is going to blow a toddler's mind. That is so rich and so exciting for them, because it's something that's planned. They've been involved in it, and in the planning stage, as it were, from the Advent calendar, and then they're going to go through and do that baking with you in the kitchen. So that's the type of things. And so for toddlers, it's because things are really, really simple at that age. That's actually a really, really beautiful and easy thing you can do. And there was another suggestion actually from one of the people on the call on the Montessori Show, that that she was going to do something from the Advent calendar once every couple of days or once every week, trying to do something with a little child, trying to think of something to do and then follow through on it every day might be too much. So take the pressure off and plan, okay, can we do one thing per week? Making the Christmas cake is something I haven't got around to this year, but in previous years, myself and the children would do that in the first week in Christmas. And again, it's something we're always looking forward to. You can pop that in one of the pockets, make the Christmas pudding, make the Christmas cake, or any type of Christmas baking, decorating the tree. You're going to decorate the tree anyway, aren't you? If you're having a tree or the decorations in your house. So pop it in a little note in the Advent calendar, and then it just brings this element of surprise and magic to the anticipation of Christmas for young children. And of course, as I've said with my Advent calendar, as they get older and they're drawing more, so they could draw what they'd like to do for today for the Advent calendar. And then as they're writing, when they get to 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, whenever it is that they start to write, then they can write what they'd like to do in the Advent calendar. They can write the recipe for the Christmas cookies. They can write the shopping list that they need to go and buy the things for the Christmas cookies. They can, when they're, from whenever they're recognizing numbers and starting to understand weights, they can read the recipe book and start weighing out the ingredients of the Christmas cookies. So it's very much meeting the child where they are. Everything's going to have this wonderful air of excitement to it if we can bring that magic in the way that we deliver it, and we can make it child-led at whatever level our child is in quite a simple way, in a way that's going to be really fun and engaging for both us and them. So when thinking about establishing Christmas traditions, really simple. Start really small. One of the things, and I'm sure every household does this, one of the things we do is I don't take any of the Christmas books or the Christmas decorations out until the 1st of December. So for the final 2 weeks in November, we're talking about which Christmas book are we going to read first? Can you remember what Christmas books we have? And every single year there's a surprise. There's one or two we've forgotten about. So it's this wonderful surprise every time, this anticipation. Which one are we going to read first? What was our favourite last year? What's going to be our favourite this year? Building that anticipation, and these really simple things make such a powerful imprint for our children. And if you're not celebrating Christmas, this can be the same for your most relevant, most important celebration. Building up this anticipation of the things you're going to do, the families you're going to the family you're going to see, the food you're going to eat. Build up this anticipation in a way that can make it really magical for your child. Excuse me. And then the second part, if you have any Christmas traditions actually in your family you'd like to share with everyone, then please do. That would be fab to hear of them. I already mentioned my client Diane, who joined at the beginning, and the Christmas cookie baking we're going to do with her in a couple of weeks' time. And the second part of our live is we were going to talk about Santa, Father Christmas. Do we say he's real? Do we say he's not? How do we keep the magic of Christmas and the mystery of Christmas and Christmas Day whilst being honest? If we are trying to ensure that we don't lie to our children and we don't involve them in a fantasy world before they're ready, before the age of 6, how can we do this without being the one that spoils the fun, without being the Grinch at Christmas or the Scrooge, the one who spoils the fun by telling our children the truth so that we're not lying to them. But then, because there's this whole magical world going on, it's something about that feels a bit weird as well, if we are spoiling something that is magical for lots of other children. So there's different ways you can do this, but I can let you know what I've done for Olivia and Harry. And for children that I've had in my classroom over the years. And what has worked is to, and this is particularly important if we're working in settings where we have a diverse community and we have some children who may be celebrating Christmas and we'll have other children who aren't celebrating Christmas. So it's really important that we can show this in an inclusive way. And so what has worked for Harry and Olivia when we talk about Father Christmas is we talk about that there was a saint called St. Nicholas, and he would go from house to house offering gifts to children on Christmas Eve. And the Father Christmases that we see dressed up everywhere are pretending to be St. Nicholas. And left it as that. And as we talked about the difficult questions, answering difficult questions last week, it's really important also to not try and give too much information. So if they ask about Father Christmas, you can keep that magic going for a long time, for a good few years, without actually having to get any detail. It's probably only when they're 3 or 4 will they'll start to ask questions, or they'll ask more detail. So we don't need to give the whole explanation. Just wait for the questions to come, and then we can answer as they come. And even though Harry and Olivia know that Father Christmas is not coming on Christmas Eve, and they know that it's based on a story of Saint Nicholas, and they know that there's lots and lots of people that they see, I don't know, in the mall or in the community, dressing up as Father Christmas, there is still so much magic there for them. We don't remove the magic of Christmas in anticipation and all of the traditions by pretending that Father Christmas is real. We don't do that at all. And actually so much of their pretend play recently, just when we took the Christmas decorations out on December the 1st, it's been so gorgeous to overhear and see. Their pretend play at the moment is about Father Christmas. They're talking about how they are Father Christmas and Harry's a helper, and they are in the North Pole and they're packing all the sleigh, the toys in the sleigh. So there's still a huge amount of magic for them about Christmas, without lying to them, about being honest, without pretending something's there that's there that isn't, and telling them a little bit of the background from what I understand it in terms of St. Nicholas. So it is entirely possible to keep both, to have that. It's not a contradiction to have the magic of Christmas and be in alignment, if we're talking about Montessori principles of no fantasy and not lying to our, and many other parenting principles as well, of not lying to our children. So we can be honest about who Father Christmas is based on, about who the Father Christmas is, the many Father Christmas, hundreds probably we'll see in our run up to Christmas Day, and we can still keep that magic. We can still keep their magic for them. I don't think that there's a conflict there, and it doesn't feel like there's a conflict in Harry and Olivia either. As I said, their pretend play has been so magical to witness in the past, just the past few days of anticipating Father Christmas coming. And Olivia started writing a letter to him to talk about what it was that she wanted, even though she knows he's not a real person. She's coming up, she'll be 7 next week. So there's this amazing childlike quality to this, that innocence, which is really, really beautiful, that there's still that magic of the whole season. And the whole character and the whole idea of someone bringing gifts to everyone that has really, really captivated them. And when they do their role play, and they do it with their teddies, and these are all the children that we're taking toys to, so they pack them all in the sleigh, which is Harry's high chair turned up, old high chair turned up, and then off they go in their sleigh with their toys for all the children, which are their teddies. So it's still so real to them, all of this pretend play, and that's their way of working out what's true and what's not as well. So I want to reassure you that you can have the magic of Christmas without spoiling it. If your child asks about Father Christmas, you can say he's based on the legend of St. Nicholas. And there's a beautiful, beautiful poem called "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" by W. Clement Moore. You can Google that, and it starts, "'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse." It's a really famous poem, and it's so beautiful and it's so atmospheric. So the other thing we can do when we're talking about evoking traditions and invoking this magic of Christmas is Christmas poems, Christmas carols, obviously Christmas songs, but all these things. And then you've got the sense from the baking, and you've got the songs, and then you've got the experience and the lights that they're seeing and decorating the tree. All of this adds up to this incredible sensorial experience for our young children, which, as we know, is what's so, so important. So if you have any questions or anything you'd like to add from your own, hello to everyone who's joined. Sorry, I haven't kept up with everyone who's joining. If you have any of your family traditions, holiday traditions that you'd like to share, please do go ahead and share them now. And otherwise, I'll just recap on everything we've said. So let me give you a recap. If we were to talk about starting child-led traditions for our piccolinis, for our toddlers and our preschoolers, this is my example. This is our fabric advent calendar. You can make one of these yourself, or you can buy them as well. This was a gift gifted to me by my mother a few years ago. And what I do is put an affirmation for the children for each day inside each pocket for the advent calendar. You could make this started to be adult-led, and then Olivia and Harry started to take over by doing pictures instead of affirmations. Olivia's now writing, so she's writing her own affirmations, or words of gratitude as well. She started this year. Another thing you can do, which was suggested by Jean-Marie Paynel and Simone of the Montessori Notebook on the Montessori Show last Friday, was that for an advent calendar, you could put little notes of the things you're going to do each day. So you're going to bake Christmas cookies, you're going to take the cards to the post office, you're going to wrap the presents. Just the joy of those very, very simple things, the joy of your child taking out the note, bringing it to you and reading it to you, that is part of the magic of having a very simple family tradition for the holiday season. It doesn't need to be complicated. The simpler the better for young children. Even if you kept what your normal rhythm is and your normal routine is, but just wrote it on notes and put it in these pockets, that is mind-blowing for a child. To receive a little note like that is really, really powerful for a child. So it doesn't need to be, I really want to emphasize, it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be spending lots of money or even going for an experience, a Christmas experience or Santa's grotto, what have you. The things that we do in the home that our child can be really involved in, that make it as child-led as possible, those are the things that are magical and will really create this beautiful imprint of this family tradition. So I don't think that there's any comments this evening for anyone else to add. So thank you so much to everyone to join, and sorry I didn't welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and next week we will have another topic for Top Tip Tuesday on Instagram Live. Let me know if there's anything you'd like me to cover regarding the holiday season or regarding anything else. I've been putting on my stories Instagram Lives and posts I've done from previous Christmases to keep you sort of inspired and to give you ideas of things that we've done in the past. So I hope some of those resonate for you. And I did a couple of lives on sibling dynamics and managing stress over the holiday season. Those were last year's ones. So do check those out. I've put them on my stories. And if you have any questions as ever, you can send me a DM. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye-bye. Have a beautiful day.